So what exactly was that condition behind Granolah's wish in Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 70? What consequences will it have on the story moving forward, and how did it change the character of Granolah the survivor? We're gonna talk all about it right now. How's it going, everyone? InnovativeJdawg here, and welcome back to yet another Dragon Ball Super manga discussion. Today's topic is going to revolve entirely around Granolah and the condition behind his wish to become the greatest warrior in the entire universe. So, if you haven't already read Chapter 70 of the DBS manga and don't want to be spoiled, go read that chapter, check out my review for it, and then come back to this video. You have been warned because we will be talking about spoilers for that chapter and potential future spoilers, but before we dive deep into the video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button so that other Dragon Ball fans can see this video as well, and also subscribe to this channel so you can stay up to date on all of my Dragon Ball content since I make a ton of it. With all that being said, let's get right into the condition behind Granolah's wish. Alright, so I lightly touched upon Granolah's condition in my review for DBS Chapter 70, but I decided to save a lot of my thoughts for this particular video because I didn't want to make my review for that chapter longer than it already was. I have quite a few things to say about the condition behind Granolah's massive power boost, like what exactly is it, and how will it impact the story moving forward? Could this condition be reversed or undone altogether? And is it really that impactful of a condition? Well, first, let's identify what this condition means. As we all know, Granolah gathered the two Cerulean Dragon Balls to summon the mystical dragon within them so he could wish to become the greatest warrior in the universe. It's all part of his plan to get stronger so that he can take out Frieza once and for all, finally getting revenge on the tyrant who ultimately caused the genocide of his people. Granolah's motivation for vengeance led him into summoning the dragon, and it led him to making that wish no matter the cost, and as we all know, there was a huge cost behind this wish. At first, the dragon initially stated that he could only boost Granolah up to the limitations of his latent potential, somewhat similar to how the Elder Kai drew forth all the latent potential within Gohan, but yet he could still get stronger beyond that point. However, there was one condition that would allow him to break beyond those limitations and become the most powerful life form right there and then, aside from the gods themselves, most likely referring to the gods of destruction and all beings who surpass even them. There was a lot of speculation and buildup revolving around this condition, but it turns out it was just a simple exchange between life and power. Granolah had to shave off a large chunk of his lifespan in favor of this power. The Cerulean Dragon was only able to do such a thing after condensing all of the power Granolah would have accumulated throughout the rest of his lifespan, and then he had to multiply it on top of his current power level, so instead of gradually getting stronger throughout the rest of his life, Granolah could receive all that power and knowledge within that very instant. The way I saw it was the dragon essentially made Granolah fast forward in life all within a split second. He went from being a 50-year-old Cerulean who, as far as we know, had no knowledge on how to even fly, or how to perform insanely powerful techniques beyond his innate sniping ability, to this incredibly powerful version of himself that obtained not just power, but knowledge to techniques that he had no previous knowledge about, hence why he's referred to as the quote-unquote greatest warrior as opposed to just the strongest warrior. Essentially, he got an all-around boost in strength and knowledge, which both can be considered powerful to a certain extent. You get what I'm saying? Now, I've seen quite a few people say that this condition was pretty underwhelming, especially considering the suspense behind it and how it wasn't immediately revealed right when Granolah made his wish, so it seemed like it was going to be something much more impactful than him simply shaving off a few years of life. And while I agree that that isn't as dramatic of a condition, we have to realize that this condition may not have a lot of consequences now, but it could have a lot of potential for the future of the story. You see, we learned that the Cerulean species can live up to 200 years, and as a result of Granolah only being 50, he reluctantly gave up his remaining 150 years just to receive all of that power, and now he only has 3 years left of his life. Unfortunately, we don't know enough about the cerulean species to know if they visibly age or whatnot, but I have a feeling that Granolah didn't just throw away those remaining years of life. I actually believe he's gotten much older because, like the dragon said, he condensed and shortened Granolah's lifespan. Maybe it's sorta like a reverse Demon King Piccolo. Instead of getting younger to get stronger, Granolah got older to get stronger. But there's not enough evidence to prove whether Granolah is still 50 years old, or if he's actually 197 years old, since we simply don't know enough about this species yet. But I feel like it makes a whole lot more sense for Granolah's hair to grow to the length that it did, because he aged within that instant, as opposed to it simply being a visual flare for his increase in power. But this is Dragon Ball, so it very well could be just that. Either way though, I suppose it doesn't matter because he ends up cutting the hair off anyways, and he still only has 3 years left to live, whether he's 50 or 197. But hey, Granolah has 3 years left to live. With a few tweaks here and there, that time frame takes us right up to the ending of that time skip between the defeat of Kid Buu and the ending of Dragon Ball Z. Granolah's 3 years left to live no doubt confirms that we're right at the horizon of the ending of DBZ. So once the conflict with him and Frieza comes to a close, we're gonna get right into that meetup between Goku and Oob, and the story beyond that moment is entirely new territory. That is pretty exciting, and I cannot wait to see where Dragon Ball Super goes moving forward. But for right now, we're still with Granolah, and his time to enact vengeance is slowly ticking away. It's very safe to assume that Granolah is all fine and good, and that it won't take him 3 years to find Frieza, nor would it take him that long to come into contact with Goku, Vegeta, and potentially even Broly, but there's always going to be that sense of urgency behind Granolah's actions now. No matter how soon he finds Frieza, and no matter how he goes about encountering the Saiyans, he's gonna feel anxious about getting the job done right there and then, and it's possible that he's going to be less calculating as a result. He'll be more impulsive because he only has 3 years left to get his job done. He no longer has the luxury of slowly planning things step by step over those 150 years. He may make decisions based upon this sense of impulsivity that he may or may not have made otherwise. For instance, is this shorter lifespan going to inspire Granolah to take sides in the upcoming conflict? Are we going to see him work together with Goku and Vegeta to take down Frieza, and possibly even the Heaters gang when he learns that they're also responsible for the death of his people? I feel like that's definitely a possibility, and it would certainly be interesting for Granolah to either come to the realization that the Saiyans were victims just like he and his people were, so then he'd come to that understanding and ultimately become friends with Goku and Vegeta. Or maybe he'll team up with them and he'll use them to get what he wants, which is the defeat of Frieza and the Heaters gang, and then when they're out of the way, he'll turn around and betray the Saiyans. Either way, there's loads of potential for Granolah's own personal story moving forward, and I feel like this sense of urgency to get things done quicker is going to play a huge role in how that story plays out and how his character develops. I want to make a video on this soon, and maybe I'll have a guest on to help me talk about it. Anyways though, these 3 years left to live are going to determine how Granolah is going to go about getting his revenge against Frieza, and it's no doubt going to change the way that he develops throughout the rest of this arc. And while the condition may initially seem underwhelming for right now, it's going to have a lot of consequences for him, the Saiyans, Frieza's army, and the Heaters gang moving forward. But I'm not finished yet. Is it possible for this condition to be undone entirely? What if Granolah actually does end up becoming a good guy and the audience wants to see him live a life of peace since he's been built up to be this relatable character? I've had a few of you guys actually ask me this, and I wanted to answer that question here because it is a pretty tricky question. The answer is, we don't know, which yes, that's a pretty underwhelming answer. You would think that it is possible for this wish to be undone. I mean, couldn't Granolah just wish to become immortal should he discover that there's other sets of Dragon Balls out there, like the Earth Dragon Balls, the Namekian Dragon Balls, or even the Super Dragon Balls, since those can literally grant any wish imaginable? If he wishes for immortality, that would certainly prolong his life and make this condition null and void, wouldn't it? I feel like it would, but then again, it's always possible that if he were to do so, there would be some sort of loophole, and he'd be stuck in an endless loop of death and resurrection, which would no doubt be a terrible fate. Either that, or he could simply wish to have the condition undone altogether. Perhaps he uses the Super Dragon Balls to wish away his strength so that he returns back to his normal self, and that way, his lifespan extends itself back to normal. I could see that happening, but at the end of the day, it all depends on how the story is written, and for all we know, if Granolah actually does get his vengeance, he may just feel like he has no purpose in life anymore and he'll live the rest of his days as the greatest in the universe. He could retire away and live in solitude, sorta like what Thanos had done after he won against the Avengers, until those 3 years are over, and then the Cerulean species just goes completely extinct. I feel like that would be a bittersweet ending for this character. Then again, if Granolah ends up being the bad guy from beginning to end, nobody is going to want to see him stick around, and thus, he'll simply die off. And it is certainly being built up that one of the ways he'll meet his end is by getting Hakai'd by Vegeta. But if Granolah does end up being a good guy, I could see it going both ways. I could see him dying a valiant death as a hero, and I could also see this wish being undone, mostly because the Super Dragon Balls can literally do anything. Until it's confirmed that this condition could not be undone at the cost of losing all that power that he had obtained, I feel like it's possible for Granolah to easily undo what had happened to him if the writing staff wants to favor his character in the very end. I don't see that happening though, but like I say with a lot of these speculation videos, you never truly know. For me though, I kinda like the idea of him teaming up with Goku and Vegeta, learning to forgive them because they're also victims, and then he gets his revenge on Frieza and just decides to retire and live the rest of his days in peace. I feel like that would be a great ending for Granolah's character. But anyways, there we have it everyone. Those were just some of my thoughts revolving around Granolah, his massive power boost, and the condition behind his wish. Do you have any thoughts on this topic that I didn't mention in this video? Leave your comments down below and let's have a discussion. Hopefully, I managed to explain some of your questions behind Granolah's sudden boost in power and the condition behind it, but if I didn't, please feel free to ask more questions down in the comments and stay tuned to future videos on this channel because I have more that I want to cover about Granolah's character in the near future. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and if you enjoyed this discussion, please do me a huge favor, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button to help push this video into YouTube's algorithm. The more likes this video has, the more likely it is that other Dragon Ball fans like yourself will also see this video. Plus, it gives me an idea of how much you enjoyed this video. While you're at it, click that subscribe button and turn on post notifications by clicking that bell icon. That way, you'll be able to see whenever I upload a new video. If you're a fan of all things Dragon Ball, you'll definitely want to stick around because I make a ton of content ranging from reviews, discussions, speculation videos, and I even do what if videos from time to time. If all that interests you, you'll definitely want to stick around and subscribe. As always though, thank you all so much for watching today's video, I hope you enjoyed. Until my next video though, I will be seeing all of you Dragon Ball fans later. See ya!